Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the money grind week. You guys voted for it, so I'm going to go kind of in order. I'm going to get the money builds out for the next week, then I'll go into some of the most ridiculous cars within GT7 and get those covered before doing a bit of a JDM week, which should take us roughly around to the next update. So I'm going to get this one out the way and done with. I covered it around about 5 updates ago, but it's still pretty much the quickest money making method within GT7, and that is the absolute blagger itself, the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak. Now the first thing you want to make sure you do with this car is run it on standard size tyres with a wide width and a wide offset. Now if that doesn't work, just go ahead and play about with them. Sometimes you may or may not get a massive boost in PP, meaning that it will take you over the 600 PP limit. So just kind of, play around with these settings, try a standard width and a wide offset, and eventually it should give you enough to drop, as long as you've got your tune set like this. So we're going to be running a bit of a bugged and glitched tyre method. So we're going to run comfort hards on the top and then racing inters on the bottom. As you can see, if I change it just to purely inters, it boosts all the way back up to 700. Same as we put hards on it, it goes to 720. So it's a comfort hard front, a racing intermediate rear. You won't be able to change your tyres at any point. Body height is 76 at the front, 93 rear, anti-roll bar 7 front and 1 at the rear. Compression is 35 front and 37 rear, with expansion being 45 front and 47 rear. Natural frequency 5.00 front and 4.70 rear. Negative camber angle 2.5 and 1.3. Toe angle at the front is 0.10 outwards with 0 at the rear. In terms of the differential, it's already on the car, so initial torque is 21 for both, acceleration 38, and then braking sensitivity is 50. The front rear torque distribution 50-50, fully customizable racing transmission set to 360. These are the individual gears. Feel free to kind of pause it and just copy them and ensure that they match exactly. I'm not going to go through them one by one. You can just see them there, pause the video, and then carry on with the tune. Ballast is going to be set to 1 with a positioning of -46. As you can see, if we start moving it around, it starts going back up and down and stuff. So again, it does seem like the ballast has a lot to do with getting this PP down. No power restriction on this one. As you can see, it's going to be full maximum output, 200 downforce front and 700 rear, high RPM turbocharger, and that is going to be your tune. It's very simple. Once you get it working, this is an absolute rocket ship. So in terms of where you want to head into Asia and Oceania. Now, or Oceania, really never understood how to pronounce that one. Head into Japan to Tokyo Expressway and head over to this event here, which is the World Touring Car 600 with the maximum reward of 550. In terms of its credit, it's the 12 lap event, so go ahead, click on that one, go ahead and enter it. It'll tell you due to PP regulations only these tyres can be used, and it won't highlight any. That's because we are essentially just blagging it with the tyres, so go ahead and enter that event. Now next up, once you are in there, ensure you've got your difficulty actually turned up to hard. This will reduce the amount of traffic you're going to be running into, meaning that you've got a lot more clear track than usual. So let's just talk about this car itself. Now this is just outright the fastest money method since the Tomahawk way back in the day, what feels like an eternity ago at this point. Obviously it did make a second return for a short amount of time before Polyphony decided to patch it out. The Escudo then kind of took over from it in terms of just being an absolute bugged wall riding mess. Obviously ever since they got rid of the wall banging collision penalties, essentially it's been so easy just to completely rocket off of those walls, and I don't blame people for doing it. Look, the game's been out over 18 months at this point. Just do what you want to do. It's the single player portion of the game. You're not hurting anyone. All you're doing is trying to make as much money in as short a time as possible. And the Escudo, well, with its four-wheel drive and over 1,000 brake horsepower, is definitely just made for it. It's the perfect machine, and this is just outright the fastest way to make money in this game if you want to get as much money in as short a time as possible. So the strategy for this car is rather super simple. As soon as you begin in, you want to keep it at fuel mix 1. Now I'm going to take you through my opening lap, because all you'll have to do after that is just kind of rinse and repeat, apart from a certain few laps where I'll kind of point out where it sort of differs slightly with the strategy. So I recommend Fuel Mix 1 just to get going, get yourself up past the AI, and at this point you haven't got to worry about them. Don't hit them or else you'll lose the clean race bonus. There's only one other condition for this race to actually lose that clean race bonus. In terms of lapping them, just be careful. I have heard people say that you can lose that clean race bonus, but to be quite honest, I've hit the AI when lapping them and it's never really been an issue for me. It was just a couple of things to note, to be quite honest. Once you get off of that main straight, put it at Fuel Mix 6, at least for the wet portion of this race. This will give you enough fuel to essentially do it on a single stop. Now, I don't know if just because of the age of this car, I used to be able to do this at Fuel Mix 4, but because I put that many miles on it, it just seems like fuel consumption is just, you know, kind of going away at this point. So it's not as good as a, say, fresh Suzuki Escudo. Now, look at the tyre wear. As you can see, the intermediates are going to completely wear off. Now, obviously, this was once again a change with the physics update. The intermediates just burn up really quickly, even though we are essentially running on Inter's conditions currently. The front comfort hards will last the entire race. Again, you can't change your tyres, but look, don't worry about it. Although the intermediates will be completely dead after around about a lap, you won't really need your tyres at all. That's why I just recommend riding the wall. You can't realistically drive this thing in a normal, clean manner. Not like that really matters. It's not realistically built for that. Now, as soon as you go back down the straight, turn the engine up, and what I recommend doing is once you hit around about the top speed of around 200 to 203 miles per hour, put it at Fuel Mix 3, and once again when you get to the bottom of the straight, put it in 6 until around about lap 4. So that is literally just how you manage the fuel. Again, you should have plenty enough to be able to just do a single stop, and then obviously again rinse and repeat all the way to the end after that stop. So lap 4, obviously I've saved enough fuel doing a bunch of Fuel Mix 6 laps, but we are now in, you know, mainly dry conditions, so your lap time should start going down. This is when I'm going to run the car in Fuel Mix 3 for the entire lap instead of 6. So all you need to worry about at this point is Fuel Mix 1 on the straight. As soon as you're up to the top speed, put it at 3 and you are good for the rest of the lap. And when it comes to lapping the AI, like I said, just be careful. You will, even on the hardest difficulty, catch them a ton, usually around about twice per race. Again, just take your time overtaking them. They'll be much quicker on that final hairpin, which is the other place you can lose that clean race bonus. So just be careful not to hit those cones. Now, we've completed the end of the 6th lap, and this is when we're going to pit in. Obviously, we cannot change our tyres. They're completely warm, but you shouldn't be really feeling that. You don't realistically need to take any corner properly apart from the final one. So just ignore that, fill the car to full, and then rinse and repeat the strategy. Fuel Mix 6 around most of the track with a Fuel Mix 1 to take yourself to Fuel Mix 3 once you hit your top speed, and essentially just rinse and repeat that. Do about 3 laps of doing that. That should give you then 4 laps to just run Fuel Mix 1 and Fuel Mix 3 once you hit that top speed for the rest of the lap, and you'll be golden until the end of the event. So there's really not too much I need to point out. As you can see, we're getting our 12th and final lap done. The engine's just died as we come down the hill, but again, we did pretty much have enough fuel to get ourselves to the end of this event, and that is going to be it, done and dusted. So first place, nice and easy. Yes, we're basically blagging it, cheating, whatever you want to call it. Who really cares? You're in the single player. It doesn't really matter. Our time here was a 22 minutes 55.189. Certainly not the best overall run, but fairly decent. So in around about 23 minutes, you can pretty much do 3 runs of this in just over an hour, meaning that this is the most efficient way to currently get money in Gran Turismo 7. Fastest lap was a 148.778 on lap 4. And yeah, well, overall a very easy and simple build to set up. Most people should have the Escudo, considering it disappeared for nearly a year at this point. So I'm assuming most people will now have one to be able to actually go ahead and do these methods. And it is still working and hasn't been patched out for, well, at least around about 5 updates at this point. 825k in that 23 minutes. Rinse and repeat in about an hour and 10 minutes. You're going to be talking over 2 million credits. So I just thought I'd get this one out the way and done with, considering I know as soon as I upload any of these other methods that I've kind of got planned, or any of the ridiculous ones. People are saying, well, there's Scudo's there. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's still there. It's been there for a long time. I know I made a video about this one when it first kind of came around, and it's just not changed since. So yes, it still works. It's been in the game for plenty of updates. Polyphony's not acted on it. Polyphony's not got rid of the clean race bonus for wall riding or anything like that. So at this point, I would just say it's fair game. Go ahead, use it. This is outright the fastest method in the game, which means I can now focus on bringing some of those methods that I kind of enjoy a lot more than just kind of riding off of a wall. So yes, if you want the quickest, absolute quickest method, do this one. If you want to experiment with a bunch of the new cars and other stuff, then I'll be covering those for the next week or so. I'll also have a couple of other glitch builds coming along, because there is some pretty ridiculous builds that you might not expect. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.